This is a short little video to show you guys the notes for 6.8. This is for graphing absolute value equations. Absolute value equation is a V-shaped graph that points upward or downward. And then a translation is a shift of the graph horizontally, vertically, or both. The result is a graph of the same shape and size, but in a different position. So let's graph y equals absolute value of x. So I'm going to have x, and I'm going to say that absolute value of x and y. So I'm going to choose some points some x values that will be on this graph, which would be, let's say, -3 to +3. So I have -3, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, and 3. Now I'm taking the absolute value of -3, which is 3. So my first point is -3, 3. Then I'm taking the absolute value of -2, which is 2. So -2, 2 is my next point. Then I have the absolute value of -1, and that is 1. So -1, 1. And then my absolute value of 0 is 0. Absolute value of 1 is just 1. Absolute value of 2 is 2. Absolute value of 3 is 3. So I have 1, 1, 2, 2, and 3, 3. Draw a line that connects those, draw a line that connects those, and that is a V-shaped graph. So that's easy. It starts at 0, 0, and goes positive in both directions. Let's look at absolute value of x minus 1. So I have, let's say, x, then I have x minus 1, which would make y. Now let's say -3. -3 minus 1 is, sorry, excuse me, let me undo this. Made a mistake in writing this down. -1, -1. Absolute value of -3 is 3, minus 1 is 2. Use -2. Absolute value of -2 is 2, minus 1, that's 1. So I have -3, 2. And -2, 1, -1, absolute value is +1, minus 1, that'll make it 0. -1 is 0, 0, absolute value of 0, minus 1 is -1, 1, absolute value of 1, minus 1 is 0, so I'm back up to 1 and 0, and it's going to continue going like this. Still a V-shaped graph. So what we see is that when there's a -1 outside of the parentheses, it moves it down 1. If it was a +1, it would have moved it up 1 from the original mother graph. Let's see what happens when we put x plus 2, the +2 in the absolute value. So I have x plus 2, absolute value, which make our y something. We'll see what it is. So let's use -3 again. Absolute value of -3 plus 2. Well, that's -1. Absolute value of -1 is +1. So -3, 1. Let's go -2. -2 plus 2 is 0. Absolute value of 0 is 0. And I'm doing it on the wrong graph. Sorry, people. -1. Absolute value of -1 plus 2. Well, that's 1. Absolute value of 1 is 1. let's do 0, absolute value of 0 plus 2. 0 plus 2 is 2, absolute value of 2 is 2. And what I would do is I say, okay, this is my new bottom, and my graph has shifted 2 to the left. If I put the addition or subtraction within the absolute value bars, it shifts it to the left or the right. What we notice, though, is that it's a plus 2 and it moves left. So if I put a negative 2, which way is it going to move? Right. It's the opposite of what you might think. So this would be the bottom point, and then it's still going to be an absolute value v equation going like that. What I want you to do is examples 4 and finish this up.